Hello, Jen.
Jim,
Great to see all of you. Hope you're having an amazing Friday.
Sure, it's good.
yeah, it's going well. Thank you. You too.
Thank you, thank you. For me, it's actually already 9 o'clock in the evening, so you're my last step before I'm winding down. Been a good day so far. And Chico, thanks for setting.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think this is going to be really nice to work more asynchronously for even like with Swole Chase today. It's like, no man, we got you covered. We'll record it and we'll upload it.
Actually looking into two-factor authentication already. It's strange because it looks like at least a Google account says there is no two-factor authentication activated. I don't know if the YouTube one is different.
Maybe the YouTube one's different. Yeah, because I had to do the two factor to get in the first time. I was able to put in a phone number, so I just put mine in and got the two factor for that. But I wonder, yeah, I guess we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Livingston Hashron, thanks for joining too.
GM.
And
GM one and all.
Vicky, are you going to be able to record today?
Yeah, I'm already recording.
Perfect. Hey, Fibo.
Hi everyone. How's everybody doing?
Good, thank you. Hope you
Good.
too.
How are you?
So Renee, I must ask, has the event taken place?
You're so sweet. No, the event has not taken place. The due date is on Wednesday, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
coming close to the day.
Cool.
But I'll definitely let you guys know. Okay. Today we are going to have a cool session because we're talking about the Web3 project management certificate. And in principle, my thinking was, can we today just do what we were planning to do this season as per proposal? So we make sure we achieve all of our KPIs. And the basic idea that we had when we started the season is, can't we at least figure out this season what's this Web3's project management certificate about? Do we at least have common understanding if this is something that makes sense to us, and do we want to do this? What are the main things that we need to do this? And what are the main impediments that we see, at least, that we just get a rough feel of, if is this something that's going to take 2 years and 5 people and a lot of money, or not? So we know how to approach it in the coming season, because there is, for example, a parallel universe where I could think of that this will need to be spun off. I'm not sure about the correct grammatical term here, but that this needs to be a project. So that we can't do it in the guild, because usually we don't want to have guilds really creating like projects and revenue out of projects is a little bit against or like contrarian to what we think we want to do with guilds. But maybe we find while we are talking through this that this is compatible with what we're doing in the guild, and maybe it's not going to be so much work. So I'm interested in all of that. Just hold on.
Yeah. people
Sorry, I'm back with you. Ray, we can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
We're
Okay.
breaking.
Okay. That was better. Maybe
Yeah,
now.
it got better in the end.
It's not stable today, I know. Okay, so I'll be silent today.
Yeah, you can try and chip in every now and then, and maybe we're lucky. Sorry for the quick interruption. So just asking, is the goal for today clear, or is this too vague for people? Because it's really important to me that we're starting on like a consistent logic.
Renee, it sounds to me like this is kind of the first conversation of what I would call like a feasibility study. Does that resonate?
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
it does.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely on board for that, and I love that you're bringing it. Sounds like a great thing to dig into.
Cool. And let's get into this. I have just a few housekeeping items to make sure that we all know about these, and I'm going to be quick so we have enough time for the rest. First of all, coordinate round. I think I'm going to be able to set it up tomorrow, and I will, of course, post all the information in the channel. But should you not be familiar with Coordinate, then just check out the help information on the down Coordinate round. Ours is going to be pretty similar, whereas the only difference is going to be that in the DAO-wide coordinate round, you're going to have 1,000 give to allocate. For us, it's going to be 100 give. And then the total number of give is going to be then translated into, I think, 93 banks. So whatever is currently in the multi-sig to disperse. Then roll holder vote ends in 3 hours. If you haven't voted, please vote. Next week, to my understanding, is gap week. If someone has different information, please interrupt me. But if my information is correct, then this means today the season 4 ends, and we have a so-called gap week where there are no meetings until we start in season 5. This is intended to be kind of a phase of winding down, relaxing from whatever you have been contributing to the DAO. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not allowed to post something, but there is definitely no expectation for you to do anything next week. And this also means that I'm not going to hold the meeting on Friday, assuming links. The same goes for the talent meeting.
Yeah, that's right. I won't be holding the talent meeting. Actually, probably the new talent coordinator would be a better person to ask about that when they're elected, but yeah.
Yeah. For sure, we're not going to have a new talent meeting next week. Then changing the meme of the week process. I have been struggling a little bit operationally with the meme of the week process, because there was like how to collect the memes, and then how to put up a poll, and then how to transfer that poll into Twitter, etc. So I'm trying a new version of a poll in which you can add options. So I will just show you the current one. It's pinned to our channel here, and I've just added it's from, I think, our last, or the one before weekly session, which is kind of the purpose of the PM Guild. And And you can vote on this one, or you can add another option if you feel there is a better meme of the week, and then obviously the voting gets extended. I will always take this one and unpin it at the end of the week and then repin a new one. So we always are able to create a Twitter post out of this one. It will just have to see how actively this is being used. And if it's not actively used, then we can just rediscuss whether this is a good way to spend our time or there is something else we want to do. Then I mentioned this a second ago, but maybe not everyone has joined. We now have a recording of these sessions that we are upping to YouTube. GCal, thanks for creating the YouTube channel, and Vicky1, thanks for recording today. What we don't have yet is like a strong process around this, in the sense of how do we make sure this is recorded every time, and how do we make sure this is up to the YouTube channel. I would like to have like a stronger process around this, and I will just create a little thread in our general channel to agree on how this is being done the leanest. Other housekeeping items before we start with the certificate session. Anything that's on your mind that we should discuss now? Three, two, one. All right. So I've kind of split this into 6 questions that I would like to look at with you. First one is, what are we talking about? Why are we passionate about this? This question should address are we actually passionate about this? Is this something that the team thinks we should pursue? Then just to prepare us for the feasibility study brainstorming, why is actually a Web3 certificate maybe different to a Web2 or any project management certificate? What are any specifics that come to mind? This is obviously not going to be exhaustive, but I would like to stipulate our mind a little bit, the thinking of our minds a little bit, and then I would suggest that we look at what externalities do we need. So essentially, money, like rain or sunshine, whatever we think is needed from our external world. What kind of a team do we need, and what are the immediate impediments that come to mind? Is there something that's there? 1 second, please.
Could this be it? How's everyone doing?
Doing well.
Links, how are you doing? Are you completely over the COVID?
I think I'm over the COVID, although I'm not over the work that packed up behind the COVID.
Hmm. Did it hit you pretty hard for a few days?
It did, but the worst part was just not getting any sleep because my kids also had it.
Wow. Hmm. So I guess it's a good time for us to have a bye week next week, huh?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
You okay, Renee? We can't hear you. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Well, when did I lose you?
5 minutes ago?
Okay. So you didn't also hear that I started to talk about this one, right? About the first question. Sorry, today seems to be a little bit edgy. Yeah, I actually then obviously talked to myself about this part. I was thinking maybe we can start with what are we talking about? Just to set the scene real quick. So in my mind, people buy project management certificates to signal that they have acquired a certain skill. Mostly it's theoretical, in my view, on certificates, but I think we could also actually offer a practical element. I'm not sure about this, but it just was something that came to my mind. And and then when we thought about this certificate, the team that discussed this, we believe that Web3, especially DAOs, have a specific challenge that we need, and therefore we need specific project management skills. This is also why this guild exists, obviously. And the third thing that is relevant is if we can offer a project management certificate, then this can create revenue. So this is to set the scene. And then why are we passionate about this? This is actually a question that I would like to ask you, because I am definitely passionate about this. I think this is something that has not been done before, and it's something that can be created comparably well, like as a side product from us creating an education stream or education path for the project manager. Really great idea, but I was wondering, you also think this is a great idea?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it really makes sense. Just like the idea that Web3, like I guess like one of the things that Justice kind of brought up in his presentation is that all of the all of the things that make agile interesting and good, I think like in Web3 you have the possibility to make that work. So it could be like agile perfected in Web3.
Mhm.
I do think this is a really good idea. Since I've joined the guild, we've talked a lot about kind of endorsement and accreditation, and I was asking even some questions today around that Mad Hatter proposal had a PM role in there, but it wasn't necessarily someone from the PM guild. So I think being able to know that people have gained the knowledge and are skilled and have the capabilities to do Web3 PMing by the ways that we've educated them and defined it, which we'll iterate over, of course, is going to be really important.
Cool.
Renee, I consider it in the context of the vision of being a mecca for Web3 project management, and it seems like it would be very supportive of that. And it almost seems like it would be hard to be known as a mecca of Web3 project management without offering something like this. So I make that connection, but also I hear your question about passion um, from two perspectives. One, with consideration for the guild, it makes sense that we would be passionate about it. But I hear you also, or maybe not, asking us personally, because ultimately it comes down to the question of where's the talent and the energy going to come from to make this happen. So, I can just go ahead and out myself and say this is not something that I feel personally passionate about. I feel more interested in things more on the periphery of project management, like liberating structures. Maybe more like which I would consider like an elective relative to the curriculum, rather than the foundational curriculum. So that's just an honest account of where I am with it.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there more in the team that have a, say, also critical view on this? Because obviously this is going to mean some level of lift. And even if we say, let's try and have this executed on in the next, I don't know, 4 seasons, then still it will mean someone needs to be willing to do something for this, else it's gonna be, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. All right.
Well, I write it, but if you can hear me, I'm passionate about it
Yes.
because I want a certificate myself. Yeah. And it would be like amazing if I can from a back
Oh, you're breaking again, Ray. Sorry about
because
that.
it will be kind of a break. It's a strong hand in Web3. And also, okay. So basically, I think more can want that too. More people would want from back to.
Okay, I'm struggling to hear Ray. I don't know. How about you? Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to hear him.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, guys, I have like a personal situation here that needs my attention. Would you be able to continue the next moments without me? And I'll be back with you as soon as I can.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me just pop open the meeting notes so I can take notes as we go.
Thank you. Thanks. See you in a sec.
All right. So we're talking about the. I guess like we're even talking about like whether there's any passion behind this at all. I guess like Hash Brown brought up the fact that I mean, if we want to be the Mecca of Web3, we probably need this. But I think that at the core, we have to have passion around the initiative. Otherwise, as Renee said, it's not going to get done. We shouldn't be working on things that we're not interested in. I have a feeling Swole Shas is interested in this, but again, he's not at this meeting, so I'm trying to get, why don't we go around the room and just talk about, even if you're not interested in getting it done yourself, do you think the idea has merit? I mean, what do you think, Phoebo? Let me single people out and see what they think. Be honest, don't hold back.
I really like the idea. I think that from the beginning, I guess this is less about passion, more about feasibility. Just having worked on something similar, I'm always wondering like how feasible it is because content creation is very taxing, very labor intensive. I guess if we are to move forward with this, I'd like to see like what one session looks like, etc. And I wanted to tell you guys this before. I actually did this like agile course about a month ago. And just noticed that there's like 90% overlap between just everything we do in the DAO and agile, just in terms of philosophy and concept. So maybe it's about kind of focusing on the areas where there isn't overlap or something, or that there's a requisite for people who join to have already been in DAOs or something. I feel like I rambled. I don't know if I helped you there, Links, but
No, absolutely. I'm just trying to take the notes down. I think that makes a lot of sense. What about you, GCal?
I do. It's a catch-22 because I think in this agile world, the certifications do become a bit more of like something you do as an exercise to prove your credibility versus how good you actually are. But unfortunately, the certifications in the Web 2 fiat world do get you more work. They do get you in the door. They do start conversations. So I think if we're going to do it, I want to achieve both. I want the individuals to be able to walk away and feel like I'm really confident in this. We've certified individuals who are really have become great Web3 project managers and carry forward the Bankless DAO and PM Guild reputation with them. I don't want it just to become I'm going to go badge collecting. There are some people's email signatures who must crash Outlook because there's so many bad badges attached to them, and then you work with them, and that it's just they're good test takers.
Good point. And Lanks, do you have any? Oh, sorry, Hash Brown. I guess is next. Hash Brown, do you have? I mean, you already did kind of weigh in, but for completeness, here's another shot.
Well, another thing I weigh in is to say I think my experience has been that ambitious, innovative projects like this typically require what I call an insanely committed champion to spearhead the thing. And it sounds to me like Swole is the one who would be most likely to be the insanely committed champion, just kind of the center of gravity that everybody rallies around. And my only question with him is his capacity, given that he's got a full-time, real life job. And so where is the combination of the commitment and the availability going to come from to see this through is my big question.
Yeah, good question, I think. And how about you, Lanks? Any feeling on this?
Are you asking yourself? You just asked if Links has any feeling.
I said Lanks.
Oh,
Lanks.
okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I think that question is directed to me, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me just say I'm new here and this is my first meeting. So I just wanted to observe. So I can't really give an input right now because I'm just new. This is my first meeting in this field and even in backless down in general.
Okay. I mean, so would you be interested in something like a Web3 project management certification?
What you say?
Would you be interested in something like a Web3 project management certification?
Yes, of course. Of
Okay.
course.
And Gil, how do you feel? Okay, not hearing from Mikhail, but how about OG?
Yeah, my network has been having issues here, so you know, I don't really know what you people are discussing about.
We're talking about a potential Web3 certification course, Web3 project management certification course. I'll pop over Ray Bankless and go to Vicky1. Vicky1, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, is actually a good initiative. I would say like a Web 2 space when you will need some certification, like something to present before they will actually consider you for a particular job. But I think in Web 3, it's actually giving a new phase where you don't actually need to present certificate, but maybe experience and something you've worked on before. But coming up with this initiative, I think is also something that is of good importance that we have it. At least if you um, actually apply to manage a particular project, you can add that to maybe project you've worked on or something, just like something that will speak for you in terms of competence and experience. Actually, it's a good initiative and I like it. It makes a lot of sense.
So, I mean, just going around the room, it feels like people feel like it's an important idea, but there is not a lot of availability or interest around doing this. I think Ray Bankless was talking about learning like through experience, which I think is the intent behind this. In fact, I think the education workstream would be the ones who are down, who are kind of working on this in the next season. We have been talking a little bit, kind of asynchronously, about how you can demonstrate competence. And we're doing a little bit of that in a kind of bounty board PM collaboration. We're having some learnings. We're trying to like demonstrate. We're trying to set up situations where we can demonstrate competence and then note that down somewhere. Eventually, that could turn into, and I always like the iterative approach where we're kind of like, hey, let's do the smallest possible thing we can do, which is start figuring out how we can note down the competencies that we have or that we're able to demonstrate, and then figure out that kind of path to a certification later. What is like a completion on a certification and stuff. If it turned into something much smaller where it was just like, hey, you're a PM. What is some PM skill that you have that you're able to either teach or show someone else? Is like, I'll give an example of a retrospective. So FIBO can now state that she's done a retrospective. She did one for the grants committee. She's done a bunch of others, but the grants committee one was very public, and it was a situation in which she demonstrated competence. Can you think of other skills like that where we might demonstrate competence? And if we broke it down into smaller things, would it feel less big? Would it feel more attainable? Because I think like one of the things is that everyone just feels that this is a big.
It's already there, so the retrospective tooling. For example, just showing people around how to use some, like we're leveraging in Fight Club D work, and we're trying to get everyone and start with managing and move to self-managing, sort of introducing maybe a session on how to use a particular DAO tool that helps with PMing, etc. And I think people would be amenable to that. It wouldn't be starting from scratch, because I imagine most people have leveraged the like not starting completely from zero. And moving on from there, perhaps going to more like analytics, that would be like kind of a third.
All right, just taking some notes as we go. Do you want me to share my screen? Will that help rather than leaving dead air for everyone? Yeah.
I'm always thinking we lost you or something.
No, I'm here. I'm just taking notes. But aside from FIBO, does that does starting in a smaller place does that
I think it does. I think if we start looking at BDAO internally, and how do we educate and certify to be able to work within the DAO, then it will start to build on, well, what does that look, what are there skills that are just internally like native to BDAO, and then what are the skills that are maybe we need to close the gap on, start with where we are and
The transparency, the flow of information, the permissionlessness of every member of the team, need any time. And those are things that are just inherent to our work environment that we're all very much used to. So I would say that perhaps to somebody who's used to like more traditional project management, agile is kind of different and concept to absorb, but in DAOs, that's kind of very inherent to our work. The only thing that I found to be different is probably the tooling that's leveraged in Mark 2. And then perhaps what's different between from what I noticed from my experience with the project here is that you kind of use what you need and try not to over engineer.
moving. I'm wondering if that's a piece of it.
That's a huge piece of it, actually, now that you think about it. I'll just mention that on Bankless Card, we have so many people doing such great work, and we paid people exactly $0. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, how people are producing such great results, and they're literally not getting paid. I think like that idea to get work done, and then there's also like purpose versus like purpose-driven versus economic-driven incentives is also part of that. Yeah, I think that's really good. So you're gamifying it to keep people's attention. Yeah. Any other points on how Web 2 is different than Web 3? All right. Moving on. What externalities do we need to execute on this? I don't really understand this question. Anyone want to take a stab at? Anyone take a stab at explaining this? Thing that touches all of that solution. So it's called a spike solution. It's getting something out there that has touched, like if you have a lot of tech uncertainty, you get something out there that has touched all the different kind of tech. It's a throwaway solution that you use to judge the complexity of a problem.
Certification doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, I feel like I'm a spokesperson for D work, but also what we did in Fight Club is we did this analyst program, and when they finished it, it was kind of a completed task in D work, and so they all got an NFT that said that like they completed this. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a really big thing to start with. It could just be that. It's kind of an on-chain credential in a sense. I'm sure it's not the best one. It's not anything like Incred, it's not so bound, etc. But it's a simple and easy way to start.
I agree with you, and I think Mint Kudos is a good way to do it too. It's a really easy way to do it. Hashbrown, I see you on mute. Something you want to say?
Well, one of the things that occurred to me, I've also been thinking along the lines of what if everybody, in the guild leveled up to know how to do a retro, and we all had kudos or just an internal certification for operating retros. If a lot of us
competence to do it, and so we started thinking about like, oh, maybe it makes sense to break this down into smaller things, which leads us to our current discussion. Maybe we can do one session on retrospectives, and through that we're kind of like figuring out what is it going to take to like build out a bigger credentialing system. Anyways, so why don't you take since I feel like this is an initiative you've been really thinking about. So do you want to take the floor for a second?
I'll be very brief. Hello everyone. I've had like a horrible day driving today. And yeah, I feel like a zombie. But so what I had in mind, I thought it would be really obnoxious for me personally to think that I am an expert enough of a project manager to write out a whole Web3 focused, like agile course that then gives people an accreditation in that. So my thoughts were, if we can utilize, like, I think you've already suggested it here, like the Minku or something similar to that, where we can award people like accreditation as can't get my words out, after they've completed like a part of the learning journey in the skill tree, right? So, this strategy, after they've accumulated enough if we want to do something that's like, I don't know, with APM or like a proper accreditor, then it's going to need to be really well thought out. It's probably going to cost some money. And plus, these more traditional peeps in like associate project management, are they Web3 friendly? Do they give a shit about Web3? I feel like if we do it this way, we've got control to shape it how we want and improve it as we go. And I think that if we do it like this, it's not going to take too much time to actually implement and launch. I know there's, you've got Bankless Academy as well. We could lean on those guys. And any other kind of educational arm of Bankless DAO or another DAO, maybe some cross collab there, funding for it at all. It's just because we have all the tools here already. But what do you think? Realised that my brain's literally fried today. I've done 6 hours of driving non-stop, so I'm seriously over it. And I had a wedding last night, so yeah, I'm a bit hungover too.
Maybe some of the previous experience with retrospectives to get most people to the point where they could do a retrospective at Bankless DAO at least. So concentrating on that, concentrating on like one or two of those skill tree elements, because I think like if people emerge and they're like, oh yeah, I can teach people how to do strategy, or I can teach people how to do this. Like right now on the Bankless, on the Bounty board kind of collabo, the intent behind that is for people to demonstrate skill, learn skill, and demonstrate it. But I have no idea how that's going to tie into the skill tree. But maybe something will be revealed as we're working on it.
I think there might
But
be some instances where it's just because of availability and the differences in people's time zones. It might be really difficult to like demonstrate in practice some of these skills in a skill tree. However, if we look at some more like theory style stuff in order to get an accreditation in a particular area, and we kind of do like a pilot, like we basically will get in a call with each other and have someone like run through a quote unquote retro, like a hypothetical retro or a sprint session. Like if we can utilize the people here and kind of run through demos of these like criterias in the skill tree, I think that would suffice because we can validate someone's competency. It doesn't matter if they haven't actually done it in the project setting, but we've still literally watched them do it. We've still heard them do it. We've recorded it. And I think in some instances that might be good enough to actually get an award, like a soulbound NFT that says, "Hey, I can deliver retros. Hey, I can do sprint planning. Hey, I can do this strategy. Hey, I can do this and that. I can use Asana. I can use Miro. I can use Monday.com. Like I think we can do that until we get to a point where, all right, there's money. People want to come to the PM Guild from other DAOs and they want to pay us some stable currencies. Then we might be able to build it out and flesh it out, give it its own website, generate some revenue as a result. But for now, next week or whatever, but it's something I'm going to flesh out. I was really hoping to try and get a kind of sync up with a few other people this week, but just the availability wasn't great. More my fault. I'm only really available in the evenings. Doing anything during AM time for me in the UK, it is a no-go because I've got my job, right? So, but hopefully, next couple of weeks, my availability is going to be a bit better in the evenings too. So we should be able to sync up and hopefully get some people to like focus on certain aspects of the education work.